profile is it's a very interesting concept because what it does is it takes the time in sales and it puts it into two-dimensional format, just like any other chart.
Okay.
But there's little tiny details that market profile shows that's really, really invaluable. Um,
Could you, if you don't mind, if I can ask you, can we
sure,
start from the, scratch? How did you insert market profile? What is the concept? I mean, just 5-10 minutes of basic interaction
sure,
with
sure.
respect to how you created this template.
Okay, well, what I did was I created the Nifty template. What I did was, you on Go Charting, you just add the market profile TPO. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Actually, in India, people are not, I'm not sure people use Go charting so much. So is it okay if we can just show them how to approach this chart?
Sure, sure. Like I've got Bank Nifty on here, so
Oh,
we can
sure,
maybe
sure.
we can
Yeah,
go
yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah.
and add. So let's see here. If I go and put, a market profile chart, let's see. You just add it using their software,
Sure, sure.
and it'll put a chart up. Now, what I do is to get the levels that are useful is there's something called balance,
Okay.
which is it's kind of like a consolidation or a bracketed range that a lot of retail traders would call it.
Okay.
And what I do is I look for a balance range, and after a while, your eyes will get really used to finding it. Like my eyes right now are drawn to this range right here, right?
Hmm.
And what I'll do is I'll look at that range and I'll say, you know what? And I'll just make this chart a little bigger here. You
Hmm.
see, because usually balance happens after a move higher or a move lower, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it moves up and it consolidates. Now I'll look at this range and I'll look at the highs and the lows and
Hmm.
I'll say, you see this high and that high and
Hmm.
these two lows here, right? I'll look at that as balance because when we when we come to this low, we come to that high, and when we can't get past that high, we come right back to that low,
Hmm.
right? So I'll draw a little chart here. Hang on,
Okay.
and that a little sort of just yeah. So I'll try and get these two highs here and these two lows, and then the simple thing to do is just to double it when the market moves off of it. Let me just make sure I get the levels right here.
So this is a 30-minute chart you follow.
It's yeah, these are 30-minute charts. So what this is, let me just get rid of this for a second. Right? This is a market profile chart and this is the structure
Mhm.
of the trading. The shapes of these profiles tell us a lot about the interactions that are going on. You see
Okay.
how the market got up here to about 40,600 and then it sold off. This profile is like an accumulation profile. The people
Okay.
who were trapped long sold off here.
Okay.
Now, if you look at this profile that moved the market higher, you can
Hmm.
see this looks like a capital letter P, and
Uh,
this looks like a lowercase letter b.
yeah.
Okay. Now, the P profile tells you that people are short and trapped short under 39,702 here.
Okay.
So, what I would look for, right, because why that happened, why they're short here, is when the market took this high, it ran the stops.
Hmm.
So people are trapped short here from this day. So when the market comes back down, there's not enough supply to fill the bids under 39,682.
Right.
Right now, if there's a large seller, it'll fill those buy orders all the way down.
Okay.
But if it's just inventory or just people that are in and out of the market will go up and it'll come back and it'll find bids or find support right at that level.
Okay.
Right? So that's a level that I'd be looking for if this thing ever fell apart. That's a place where I'd look for short covering. Now,
Okay.
the fact that the market went up and there's a gap, right? So you have a gap up here, right? This is a short position. A gap higher is a short position, right? A gap lower is supply. And as retail traders, all we need to care about is supply. Because if there's supply, we can short. If there's no supply, there's no reason for us to short. right? Something
Interesting.
very simple that nobody really talks about. Markets are just, that's why we call it the stock market, because it's a market. So whether selling stock, rugs, spices, it's just a product. And what's the goal of a market? To buy a bunch of really cheap product and sell it at higher price. So here's the accumulation of the cheaper product. Then you cut the supply. The
Mm-hmm.
market goes up because how you create demand is cutting supply.
Mm-hmm.
You shut off the sell here, people will push price up and you can sell into it. Then the large traders or the wholesale traders will sell the market down, but they won't go into their cost. See, their cost basis is right here. See?
Mm-hmm.
This is the cost basis of the size, and then this is the accumulation of that. This is the distribution,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's all we did. This is because all I did was I never had a retail client, right? All I did was my job was to make sure if you had 10 million shares of stock in your account, after 4 or 5 weeks, the goal is to have no stock and cash. I'm liquidating that into the market. And to liquidate large size into the market, you have to sort of work the market. You know how to make a market, create buying. And buying is created by shutting off supply, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've taken a stock from 30 cents to $300 by myself. I've routinely done shorts, squeezes. You guys are familiar with the concept of RSI. I once held a NASDAQ stock at $30 for 3 months, and the RSI was 90 RSI for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I did that by restricting supply,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I actually engineered a short squeeze where the float was smaller than the short position,
Mm-hmm.
right? This holds price up. Right. So here you have price being held here at this 39,700 level.
Mm-hmm.
When the market goes up and comes back down, you'll notice that there's a point of control here. This is where the most time is spent at 39,826, and the market cannot come and get down to that level. So
Oh.
that's a support level. Also, if you look at the shape of this profile, you'll see that these two lows are at the same price. That's a double bottom in a B-shaped profile. So this, when you see this after a move up, the last thing you want to do is short down here
Mm.
because the supply is shut off, and as you can see the next day, higher.